Hey everyone, welcome back. VeVe Magic here. Today I have a very special guest with me. One of my favorite people that I get to talk to on Twitter, Sanjay Bhaskaran. He's a master collector and all-around good guy, leader in the community and spaces. So welcome.
Thank you, VeVe Magic. It's great to be here. By the way, a big fan of yours. I think when you first come into spaces with your knowledge of Disney, I was probably one of the first few people who said, hey, you should have a channel of your own. Don't, maybe multiple places. But so glad you've got this channel and very honored to be here.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I know you've been very supportive. We've built our own relationship in the background, and it's been lovely getting to know you. So for those that don't know you and aren't frequent on Twitter, could you provide us a little bit of your professional background?
Sure. As you guys know, I'm Sanjay Bhaskaran. I've run two tech companies, one as CEO, one as president, in the sort of fintech space. More recently, I've been in investing in early stage companies for the last few years. I'm also working with some private equity right now and helping them make some investments. Beyond that, I'm on a docu-series. It's about empowering women. It's just one episode that I'm on. It comes out later this year. Not ready to share much more about it right now. We'll tell you guys more about it later. And then I also advise a whole bunch of companies. I'm, a lot of fintech type, machine learning, AI type companies, early stage companies. I'm an advisor to. I also sit on the board of the Broad College of Business, Michigan State. So that's a little bit about my more recent background. Prior to this, I've been general manager at Amazon. I ran the credit card business there. In North America, launched the Amazon Prime card. That was from my team. I've also worked at Visa before. I've worked at HSBC for many years. I've lived in the US, multiple cities. I've lived in Canada. I've traveled quite extensively globally as well. Originally from India, chemical engineer and MBA. And, VeVe is my passion now. I would, it's getting up there. I mean, there's days when I, sort of say, look, maybe I should be taking the plunge on the other side now. It's so much more fun.
Right? I know. And so how did you find out about VeVe?
Professional background? I'm Sanjay Bhaskaran, VeVe.
I like it. How did you find out about VeVe?
Oh, that's a great question. So it was about last year sometime, mid-August. I was doing some research. I had a lot of money in stocks, so that was a lot of money. I had some money in stocks. And I was trying to get into some kind of stocks that have exposure to NFTs. And then I came across this article that said, Marvel Comics #1, Marvel's first ever from 1939, coming on this app called VeVe. And that kind of got me very curious. And so I explored it. I found my way into VeVe. And then, just really enjoyed the experience on VeVe. And I'm a collector. I mean, I've sold a few pieces here and there. Even those are kind of more accidentally, where I listed something in some crazy high price and then it just, oh my God, it sold.
Nice. So did you come in?
I found VeVe, through an article that I read.
That's awesome. So did you come in for that drop, or had the drop already happened?
The drop had happened. So the Marvel Comics one, I think, dropped on August 19th, if I'm not mistaken. And I came in on August 24th. So in fact, when I came in, the first thing I actually, it's kind of funny, right? The first thing I actually bought was a Spider-Man. Nice. It was the hanging out, the uncommon Spider-Man, 30-some gems is what I bought it for. Somehow, Spider-Man's got that ability to, your eyes, when you're scrolling, your eyes get stuck on Spider-Man, and that collectible was my first one. And then after that, I bought Marvel Comic ones. I got one for 8 point some gems common, and then another one for 18. And oh my God, then it just, that's when the addiction hit, right?
I was going to ask, what did you think so you didn't come for the drop. So what did you think when you went on the marketplace and saw the prices of those comics?
Oh my God, it was like, I couldn't believe it. To me, it just felt like this is such an incredible opportunity. And I wasn't, I didn't know much about the community within VeVe or any of these other things. it was sort of me, myself, and I just kind of going in. There was, I was not in Twitter Spaces or something. Just loved what I saw about it, and then from that point on, the I went for the drops after that, and the drops at the time weren't very hard to get. I mean, I don't think I was early enough where the store was open, you could go buy as many as you want to or whatever, except for Captain America, I think, that one. But even that, that got sold out and stuff. But yeah, it was a great experience. That joy, that thrill of clicking on the buy now and then finding out which rarity you get and what mint you get and all that good stuff. And it was just sort of a very individual experience until Twitter Spaces came along, and then it was like this group, and everybody was finding out. And you find these people jumping with joy and all that stuff. So that was sort of the next stage of it that came pretty quickly after.
And do you find yourself more heavily weighted on the collectibles or the comic side?
More on the comics. My collection is almost 1,700 plus comics. Wow. And about 700 some collectibles. So I'm definitely much heavier in the comic space, and yeah.
Is there a specific reason that you're drawn to them that you can think of?
Yeah. I mean, I think for me the comics. I used to read comics as a kid. Not a big comic guy, but I probably used to read a little different types of comics. I used to read the UK War Commando kind of comics. A couple other ones. I've read Spider-Man stuff also. But for me, just the whole, exploring comics, the storyline, the artwork, it drew me in. It sucked me in, and the more I got into it, the more. I'll give you one example. I mean, just to illustrate this whole thing, Journey into the Mystery. It's about Loki being trapped inside a tree, right? And how do you, in a comic sketch, someone getting trapped inside a tree, right? And just the whole, how do you create that? And then, with Thor moving the hammer, how do you create that speed of the hammer, and how do you create the building of that bridge? And it's just, the way these things are brought together, all the way from the storyline to how it manifests itself on a piece of paper with ink and colors and stuff. It just blew me away. It just drew me in. I'm just so drawn to them,
Yeah. So when you first got on, did you like immediately start stacking, or did you sort of kind of like do the slow process? Like, I know at one point you got super gung ho, like, oh, give me every one I can get. But like, when was that when did you realize you wanted to do that?
Yeah, I literally, I did not want to do it with anything else other than Marvel Comics 1, ASM 1, and FF1, Fantastic Four 1. So when I came in, I bought a bunch of Marvel Comic 1s in a very short window. To me, it was like an investment. Remember, I told you, I was in stocks.
Right.
So instead of having 20 shares of Google or, a couple hundred shares or whatever else, PayPal or something like that, it was like, okay, I'll take a little bit of money out and I'll buy a bunch of these, right? It's an investment. I mean, so that's how that started. So I bought a bunch of Marvel ones, nowhere near the quantity that I have right now, but so I bought a bunch of Marvel ones, and I bought ASM ones, mm-hmm. and also Fantastic Four ones. So I picked up 2 secret rares of each. I got 6 ultra rares of each. Wow. It was like part of a investment strategy, so to speak, back then, right?
Good strategy.
And then I bought a bunch of, a few uncommons and commons. And that was it. And then, and then I went into the collectibles. The collectibles, I was more, I enjoyed collecting the collectibles in the beginning. I would just, like, to me, having those sets and, putting those together was very important. I have almost all of the first season, with the exception of, I think that Donnie set. I don't have the, Rewind Collective, one of those sets. But pretty much everything else I kind of was able to collect at relatively reasonable prices. Not sold anything, like not sold out of anything. I probably might have sold a piece here or there. And I've enjoyed that collection. I've now slowed down quite substantially, I think, with collectible prices changing and stuff. And I have a pretty big collection now. So it's more of, I think I probably have to make a little bit of room to then go add some more on the collectible side. but the comics, I just collect all of them.
Yeah. Now, are there any other comics that you're like waiting for them to drop that you would also be like wanting to go heavy on if it came on the app? Or are you kind
Uh,
of like, are you happy with what you've gotten?
no, I think I'll pick up a few more. I mean, so Marvel ones, that's my priority to pick up. I think I've close to about 460 some now.
Wow.
I hope to hit, at least 500 before the first anniversary on August 31st,
That's
which is
cool.
is the Marvel Comics 1 anniversary. Not on the app. This is the anniversary period.
Yeah.
But there's some really nice comics out there. Amazing Fantasy 15. There's a bunch of others. Really good ones. Captain America #3. To me, these are some pretty nice comics. They've not yet come on the app. I would love for them to come, and I don't think I'll go crazy on them or anything, but I will pick up a few, and I'll keep. I like Strange Tales 110. To me, that was an amazing comic. Star Wars #1 is another excellent comic. Avengers 4. You've got to give them credit. There's just such amazing comics that have come on VeVe. Such amazing comics. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
People can talk all day long about the money and the investment and the whatever, but just the comics that have come on to VeVe, A+, A+.
So do you have physical comics that you collect as well?
No, not. I've just started. I just barely started. Tony Pittman is a friend. He told me a little bit about the oversized Star Wars 1 and 2, so I bought those.
Oh, I need to do that.
Yes. So then I got Obi-Wan #1 as well. I got the 2 variants of that. So just started. I think my Batman black and white collection, more on the collectible side, I've got more of those. On the comic side, not as much. Hopefully, down the road.
Yeah. Did I hear that you do you have every single Batman black and white, or what's that collection?
Oh yeah, in my dreams, I wish. In my dreams, I wish. Okay. So it is a goal of mine to kind of have all 100 someday. Right now, I have number 1 through 25, including number 24, the Penguin, right? My bold Penguin. That one was the hardest to get in number 1 through 25, but I have 1 through 25. And I have some of the others that are on VeVe. The 6th series of it I don't have as yet, but up to series 5, I got all the other pieces. Then in between, if I like something, Dan Schawbel every once in a while will, say something. He's also a collector, right? He collects all these physical, or Silicon, or one of these guys will go, tweet something, and then I'll get this major FOMO for the physical, and I go buy it and stuff.
Yeah, so I've heard stories
on each other,
right? I've heard stories about this penguin, and tell me why that one is so hard to find.
Not enough of it out there. I mean, it's
don't they break a lot or something?
It does. I mean, some of these collectibles, they get damaged and stuff. This is not the 1 through 25. This is just the VeVe stuff. But let me, show you what I've got up here. So,
ooh, look at those Todds.
Yeah, there's all right there. I've got 2 black and white Todds here, and one's downstairs, and the blue one. But you see that one there? That's the Penguin.
Right. Oh, he's so cool.
Yeah. So that one, it's an intricate piece, and a lot of times when people pack it, ship it, and stuff, it gets damaged. But yeah, so that's sort of my collection there. I'll show you the this one. So this is the you see this?
Oh yeah, the battle statue.
The battle statue. Yeah, I love it. It's huge. I mean, it's only up to about here, so it's pretty.
Wow.
And I have the 209 physical and digital. We won't talk about how much it costs. But,
wait, so they match? The physical matches the digital?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
And that's the Camille Rose Garcia Voltura Macabre.
Oh, I love that. I just got the latest one on the drop.
Well, this one is something, you probably have this. So I have the Walt Disney 50th anniversary box, the full thing. I haven't opened it.
Oh,
You
are
see
you
this?
serious?
Yeah.
That's
But anyway, yeah.
cool.
And then also this is so so I don't know if you can see this, but this is a
Huh?
Ron English sketch.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I picked out the Mona Lisa grin. I'll show you the Mona Lisa grin. I love this Mona Lisa grin, by the way. So I picked out this Mona Lisa grin, um, from Ron's store and bought it. The original one was blue and yellow. And apparently, when I bought it, it was there, but, somebody else sold it or whatever. So then Ron did a custom sketch for me as well.
Wow, that's
But
incredible.
anyway, yeah, and then this is the,
Oh, look
uh,
at those girls.
I've got all the Harlequins there.
I love it.
The first couple of series.
And
And
you
then
have
next
that whole
door.
set too in digital form, right? The
Yeah,
NFTs?
yeah, yeah.
That's
Yeah, I
awesome.
don't have any matching or whatever, but anyway. So, yeah. So as you can see, I got very into the Batman black and whites. By the way, this is just not everything that I have. The reason I probably have to stop as well is because I think, my wife will put me out of the house, man, because all these boxes come and so I just literally have stacked them into like closets and put them away. So anyway, so I've got to figure out some mechanics of how I want to display them, where I want to display them,
Right.
and then probably I think I'm up to 45 now, so I got 55 more to go in the 1 to 100 series.
Well, that's a pretty big room. It looks like it's kind of your man cave. So I think
Uh,
you got some areas where you can add some more, huh?
well, I've got a trap door up there, and so I'm thinking about building a whole bat cave, like a real bat cave up there.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
That would be pretty cool, right? You pull down the ladder, you go up there, it's like a total bat cave.
And so would you say that this physical collecting of yours, sort of, you said you were a collector, but so most of the stuff you've gotten since VeVe, right?
Oh yeah, VeVe, yeah, for sure. I mean, pre-VeVe, I collected only like watches, and I have like these old ties from the 30s, 40s, and 50s kind of thing, which I inherited from a relative. I have stamps, so I collected those kind of things. But a lot of the collectibles, the statues, was just definitely post VeVe. So
yeah, and that's another one,
it
huh?
just it's so much a joy.
I know.
It's so fun. And Silicon and I, we just the two of us, put us together, and we'll just go. We can spend hours and go nuts just talking to each other about this stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's got quite a collection as well. Now, you mentioned stamps, and that was something that you are really bullish about as well on the app, right? There's the stamps.
Yeah. I was very, very delighted and thrilled to see, VeVe bring in stamps from the USPS. And to me, that was just an incredible opportunity. I started off with a few, but then over time I added, a lot of them as well. So yeah, not a crazy amount, but I have a good number of the first stamp. I think it's
you're drawn more so to the first one than just because of it being the first.
Yeah, I mean, I have all of them, so I have one of all of them. But the first stamp set, the Dia de los Muertos collection, I have multiples of those because I believe that's definitely quite historic.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then so something you and I talk quite a bit about is utility in spaces, and we've had held our own personal spaces together, talking about I think we both sort of believe that there's going to be utility that comes at some point, and it's on the roadmap, hopefully. But we also firmly believe in that there's something that we can do together as a community to help drive towards that. I mean, we know that the company listens to our ideas, and we've heard David say that even the partners listen to some of what's going on in the community. And so, I feel like all their ears are open. So what kind of utility would you like to see from some of this stuff?
I think it just, there's the best way to sort of describe this would be there's utility that's tied to the fandom or to the specific company that this is from. The second one is utility that's created within the community or within the fan base around it. So there's, company driven, and there's, fan base driven. I'd love to see where it evolves. I mean, I think if you were to sort of think about a Disney, or if you were to think about Marvel, or you think of any of these other IPs on VeVe, what you would find is that there is a just an in insane amount of passion within the fandom, the digital fandom. It's crazy. I mean, you can use the word crazy as well in many ways, and it's got this, for any company to sort of view it as a transaction is sort of leaving things half finished.
Right.
Whether you're Disney, whether you're Marvel, or whoever you are, even the artists, you have that ability to create a level of engagement and a relationship. And I think if you create both relationship and engagement, there's longer term value to be had as a win-win. The company wins, you win, and that chemistry is so powerful that that energy will attract more people into it. So if you think about all of these platforms, and if you think about these IPs, at the end of the day, that's where it comes to, right? You create this relationship, you create this engagement, and you create this energy around it that's so infectious that it draws more people in, and then you build and you evolve. So I suppose there's different forms of utility in different ways. I mean, a lot of people think it's an airdrop, it should be free. I don't necessarily see it that way. To me, it feels more like I haven't put enough thought into it, but I'd love to see how that engagement happens. But yeah, I think it's a missed opportunity if that's not something that's developed any further. I mean, if you look at Ron English, he did an airdrop of something for people that had every one of his pieces. Matt Gandick did something as well. And this is just the starting point. I think, it's there's more to be. I think the MCP, while it may feel like it's a rewards program, I think it's going to create some level of engagement. I mean, think about it. People are taking matters into their own hands. They have clubs. All kinds of clubs exist in VeVe, right?
Yep.
The Partners Statue Club. And, these are all beneficial things,
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to get your thoughts on it as well. I mean, I know you and I have chatted a little bit. You've got some great thoughts on this. It'd be great. I don't know if you've shared this with people before, but for people to know your thoughts on this as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you said, you summed it up so well. And I've said that I certainly think it's very much on the radar, because like you said, it would be a missed opportunity, and there can be so much more engagement. And people are like, well, they're not going to give stuff away for free. And it's like, but they already, like, speaking to Disney, they already do that. Like, you go on certain days and you get things for free, and or you get discounts, or you get this, that, and the other with having a pass. And so you get things for free, but like, that's not how they see it, because they see them giving you something free and you being like, I want more, and wanting to, like, you then want to invest more because you feel like you were giving something that's, crazy, when really it could be a pin, but it gives you this feeling like, oh, they care. And then you go out and spend more money. It's totally a moneymaker for them, even if they give us some sort of perks or whatever the case may be, especially if they tie it to parks and stuff. It is only going to generate more revenue for them, in my opinion. So again, yeah, I think it's a win-win. It was really cool, because we were talking about, VeVe just had this pre-party event for DCon, and then later they were talking in Spaces, sort of just being excited and talking about all of it, and wanting to get everyone amped up for the one that's in Anaheim in November. And then they're like, we can go. I was actually a listener, but I was messaging and to people that were speaking, and they said, we can go. Disneyland is like on the same block as a convention center. We can go over there. We can walk there. And one of the guys is like, VeVe Magic, she'll give personal tours. And I'm like, I'll be there. Yeah, sure. But I said, like, think about this. Think about, like, as their relationship grows and matures, and as Disney gets more and more involved. I mean, who's to say in the future that they don't? We have a VeVeCon hosted. I mean, Disneyland has convention space. They have conference rooms and all that stuff in their hotels. And one day they could. I'm a big dreamer, but one day they could host a VeVeCon. And then they close the park down at midnight, and we get to, have just VeVe people in from midnight to 4 a.m. or something like that, an after party. I mean, it's just, that's the kind of stuff that would be really, really cool in the future.
That would be amazing. I mean, so first of all, I want to do DCon in Anaheim. I'm looking forward to that. And I've, started setting out some feelers to people at Disney that I know that, hey, it might be a good opportunity for the community to catch up with you guys as well. We'll see how that works out. But yeah, that'd be amazing. I'm looking forward to that. So that one's I'm definitely doing. The DCon London one is a little harder, just given my schedule, but I'm hopeful that I'm able to swing it at the last minute. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, and at this event we had a surprise visit by Morgane Kiesling, who's worked on all of our Disney NFTs, and she, this wasn't a Disney event by any means, but she was kind enough to come to this event and meet up with people and establish some in-person relationships, and that was really cool. I mean, that's even that kind of stuff is utility for me, like getting to meet these artists. I got her to sign a VeVe shirt for me, and all the the VeVe team as well. And there's so many ways you can go. It's little things that really make a difference in the community, and it doesn't have to be some grand plan for utility. Of course, I think we'll get there, but just the little steps along the way are going to be huge. I didn't even hear the announcement because I was so engaged in conversation most of the event, but I didn't know that we're going to get airdropped a VeVe logo NFT from being at the event if we scanned in our ticket.
Oh, how cool.
That's utility,
hey, how awesome is that?
Isn't that cool?
That's amazing. By the way, there's a bunch of people that are going to the Jurassic Park double feature this Thursday.
Right.
And most of the folks are in Dallas or are seeing it at the same time in the same place, same theater and stuff. So that'll be pretty fun. So that'll be a little bit of a get together. The Dallas community, VeVe community, is very close. We met several times. So that should be fun. Yeah, looking forward to that DCon event, and I think it's just sort of setting a trend, so to speak. And I've heard only great things from people who've gone to each of the prior events.
Yeah. You said that you guys are probably gonna go to a bar or something afterwards or before and kind of hang out, or you think it's just a movie? That's fun. That's great. Yeah, meeting people. This was my first time meeting people and being able to actually put faces to voices and meet people was a really awesome experience. And it just shows you how special VeVe is, because it's not just, it's not just about the collectibles and things we're buying. It's creating this whole environment that's just for a lot of us taking over our lives, Yeah,
they've got when you think about it's when it's got all the right ingredients in it. I mean, keeping it real, there's a few pieces that are missing in VeVe. Mm-hmm. I think with every newer company, sometimes you need to have more patience than less to kind of see things through. But I'm confident. I haven't my collection in VeVe is bigger than what it was earlier. It continues to grow. There are times when I've been a little frustrated with a few things, and I've made my point on Twitter, and I believe they've heard. They've heard the community. Maybe a little slower in the beginning, but now they've got their ear to the ground. They're very in tune with the community. They're doing a lot more listening. They're doing a lot more adapting, and they're very focused. I find this company with a high degree of focus now. They said the three things: browser, KYC, MTL, three things, not looking at other things. We've deprioritized some other things that are not important. To me, those are all very good characteristics of good, solid, focused leadership that understand what the community wants. Sure, it's taken longer. Sure, we had bots. Sure, they didn't, all that other good stuff. But hey, listen, I don't think any of the other big companies that are around today, when they were smaller, had a smooth sailing either. So, but anyway, let's that sort of kind of gives that balance to the conversation around this is a phenomenal company with just an incredible set of ingredients to create that chemistry and that engagement and that love for collecting.
With growing pains, though. Like every company has. So speaking to that, Oh, and speaking upon that as well, I actually just got my web invite this morning, as did two of my relatives. So
Oh,
that's another step in the right direction. Is
yeah.
the next set of web invites has gone out. So I see that as another positive step.
I've heard a lot of people in the community get it as well. So I didn't get the first wave of invites. I was on the first wave, but I was in the second one, the one that was just before this, maybe about a week and a half, maybe a little bit before that.
Right.
And I went onto the website, I played around with it, and I submitted some feedback and stuff as well on a few things. But I love that. It's a good experience.
Yeah, and the thing I liked about the conversations of meeting these guys is I heard many people say that in their personal conversations, they said, they asked them, I hadn't had the web app yet, but they asked them about the web app, and they said, I don't want to hear what's good. Tell me what's bad.
Yeah.
Which is great. They're like, I want, tell me what you, yeah, exactly. Right?
So you kind of get the feedback. Same here. I just went through it and I kept writing all the stuff that I found that wasn't kind of working smoothly. Mm-hmm. And some of it was sort of, individual kind of browser or whatever, something could have been, but yeah, that's good stuff. I'm excited. I'm glad. They said that's coming. It's gone. A lot of people have it. Not everybody has it, but I'm sure that'll follow.
Yeah, we're getting closer. So along the same lines of some of the issues we've run into, I know you were a big help in the community amongst many other people with this whole bot issue, and that you held these big spaces where we all sort of brainstormed and were like, look, like we can help. Like, it's not, yes, it's their job, yeah. But if we want it fixed, like let's step in and help too. So can you talk about a little bit how that went? I remember hearing a lot of those spaces.
Yeah. Well, I would say I was a small part of it, not a very big part of any of that. I think people like Pyro and others who actually use their skill set, their technical skill set, to identify specific accounts that were botting and stuff like that. Those guys just did yeoman's work. My perspective, I think for me, just having run digital B2C businesses, having been around, these not identical situations, but with bots and stuff like that, the whole thought process was, at the time I felt VeVe was burning like 1 billion calories of energy trying to fight bots on the back end when the front door was open. Mm-hmm. Anybody with a heartbeat, could open an account. And it was too easy. It was very easy to open an account. And so, the frustrating part, and it's like, hindsight seems silly as well, right? But when you go for a drop and you're not able to get it, you're hitting the, and like you keep hitting the button, you don't get it. There's like a little thing that goes off saying, "What the hell?" Right?
Yeah.
So anyway, so to me, it felt like VeVe was very focused, and they're spending so much. It was just consuming them, the calories and all the tech and the people and resources going into fighting these bots on the back end when the front door was like wide open, and it was more and more coming in. And I think, to VeVe's credit, it took a little while, but they heard the community, and then they made the changes. It's a very big step, to stop transfers, to stop. They just put a lot of things in place. There was this sort of groundbreaking, kind of almost like a specific time and day where these guys just said enough is enough, and they took some very tough measures, which I'm sure hurt their bottom line more than anyone else's. But they, that speaks to the quality of the company as well, speaks to the ethics of the company and just the ethos. So to me, that was great. I needed to see that in VeVe. Mm-hmm. that made my faith in the company a lot stronger. It gave me, that sort of thing. I'm willing to, sit around with a few delays and stuff. Didn't matter.
Yeah.
But yeah. But that, that was pretty much it. To me, it was more, I was more of a lent my voice to policy, if you will, and saying, hey, did they even read my tweet? I don't know, but they heard the community overall.
Oh, I'm sure they did.
but it was a good effort. I think it was a good collective effort by the community. And, cool. The people who, like Pyro and others, who just kind of really, Dave, these guys really did a lot. And I think even people like, John and Jay Tokes and all these guys, they all, they're powerful voices in our community. They all chimed in, Silicon, NFT interviews, Pirate, Chavez, all these guys, right? They all kind of chimed in. I think that helped.
Yeah, for sure. And so what do you think about the sentiment right now, with sort of these looming deadlines and we see that the market where it is now, it's, we got a pretty decent comic that came out today. It's selling for 3 gems. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
So 2 thoughts, right? The 2 different topics. So the one topic is the 3 things, right? The one topic is browser, KYC, MTL, right? It's almost like, as you get closer and closer, you're hoping you start seeing the iceberg, at least the tip of the iceberg sticking out of the water.
Yeah.
I'm seeing it, okay? With the browser, I'm seeing it.
Yeah.
So even if they don't finish all of it by June 30th, to the extent they've got the browser rolled out, to the extent that they've said KYC is enabled, anyone who wants to KYC can go in and start the process on this link. And MTL is available once you finish KYC. To me, as long as it's in that June and July, first 2 weeks kind of window, I think that's great. So I'm confident that they would get it done. I don't think David and Dan will be around partying with karaoke and all that stuff. those videos will come back to haunt them. It's like, is that what you're really doing? I think these guys have got it under control on that piece. I mean, there's still, you can never say, right? There's always bugs or something or the other can always go wrong. I think you have to leave that room for anyone, any company, anywhere. The pricing thing is a second topic. That's a different issue. To me, I believe that there is there are, the sins of the past catch up, so to speak. There were people who bought cheap gems. They used those cheap gems, like let's say you got 100 gems for $50. There's a collectible in the market for $100. You pay your 100 gems for it. Well, to you, it was 50. So if you sell it for 60, you still made 10, right?
Right.
Now, for the guy who bought it for 60, now, whether it's whatever gems, for them, again, it's like a huge, massive, discount relative to something else. But if everybody else is also selling it at that price, that 60 gem price feels like, oh, what the hell, maybe it should be 50. So I think that whole nonsense has to work its way through the system. There's a bunch of that. To me, when you think about VeVe and you think of sort of this long range kind of a thing of, hey, this is an app. There's so many users. It's going to grow. There's more IP. There's more categories and all this stuff coming. To me, that has to work its way out of the system. And all these nefarious actors, who've got their accounts jammed. Some of them may have, kind of skipped out of the net or whatever it is, a few of them or whatever it is, and there's still some. Yeah, give it some time. I think all that stuff will work itself through, and we'll be in a better place. I think that's sort of if you look at VeVe, inside VeVe, that's sort of the thing that you can say. But then externally, there's other factors, right? People read the news and they say crypto's down. Right. ETH used to be 4,500. It's like, 17, 1,800. Now Bitcoin was 60 plus, 65 plus, and now it's like 20 something, 29 or something. So people are seeing crypto, people are seeing the stock market, people are seeing, this whole, inflation. They're seeing the price of the gas pump. So that's, there's like this whole kind of effort, this sort of thing that goes on in people's head around, hey, maybe I should slow down, maybe I should, get rid of this. Still doesn't, still not the reason why somebody should pay $10 or something and sell it for $5, like, 20 minutes later. That's different. That's like the whole gem thing. But, by and large, I think that's kind of, people are not spending as much, on VeVe, I think, because of some of those factors. But, as we know, Star Wars proved it. Star Wars came in, the money started flowing. you know,
Yeah.
all the behaviors of the back. So it's just a timing thing. Just you just these are things you just we've been through this stuff with in other ecosystems, in other marketplaces, with other things and other assets and stuff. So yeah, one needs to be patient. Meantime, if you if you okay, so I'll add one thing to what you asked me, right? I believe that in this market, there are people who are dropping things at irrational prices. I'm all about asymmetry. You'll hear me talking about asymmetry all day long. So, when someone panics and drops a collectible at a very low price below the den floor, whatever, that's not financial advice of any kind, but you as an individual has to make a decision. What is it? Is it a Marvel one? Is it like a Spider-Man? Is it a Fantastic Four one? If it's a top quality asset that somebody's dumping for some reason, personally for me, I go get it. If I have money, I'll go pick it up. I'll say, okay, you know what? Put it away, come back, visit it in whatever time frame when it goes up. But it's not the same. You just can't go on a shopping spree and buy everything and hope everything goes back up and it'll all be great. I mean, those that delusion shouldn't be there. I think you should sort of be smart about it in this market. Pick up selectively good things that either you love, like if it's something you really wanted and could not afford, and now you can afford it. Don't worry about all this market moving up. Pick it up because you love it. And you really enjoy it. I mean, maybe it's that kind of app, right? You really enjoy it. And then on the other hand, if you want to make an investment, you make an investment. And there's a lot that come up all day long.
Yeah. And so with these three things that are looming and coming, everyone's projecting about what they think the market's gonna look like and how the app's gonna do after. And a lot of people think that people are going to cash out, so we might go down for a bit, and then eventually we'll balance out. And I also think once these things roll out, I hadn't thought about it until just having this conversation. I feel like that's when we're going to see once things are through that period and running smoothly. I think you're really going to see advertising and marketing ramp up, and I think that's going to make a huge difference and drive a lot more people to the app. And so I'm curious what your thoughts are about once we get all these things that we've been waiting for, what you see happening.
Yeah, it takes skill set to look around the corner, so to speak. You're walking straight, you got to make a corner to look around the corner. It takes special skill set to see much further down as well. I always ask myself, so what and what next? Mm-hmm. And when you think about something like an MTL coming, there's people who've, just for example, somebody who put in, $1,000 has made like $20,000. And, if it's material to them, they should take out 5 or 10 or whatever they want to take out, right? And so that's a good thing. And it's the right thing for such people to take out some money, take their profits. They came in super early. They bought the Todds for, I don't know, whatever, super low prices, less than 100 gems or whatever it is. And now it's sitting in the $2,000 plus range. So they should, definitely take out some money and stuff like that. So I think you're going to find some of that. The people who are in near term, there's people in VeVe who've made some money on VeVe, or maybe even haven't made money, but want to take out some for whatever reason. That sort of escape hatch is there. The steam has been bubbling up, has been, pressurized inside. It's going to come out, and, that's going to result in some, selling and stuff like that. But I think, the other thing that happens is now people have, when that your money can come out easily, there's people who've got money on, disposable income that they don't want to throw in forever, but they want to make the round trip. The round trip start, especially when you have good drops, big drops, those round trips start happening. It also opens up the ability for people to refer to their relatives saying, hey, listen, here's like right now, whenever you go to somebody, say, hey, this is VeVe, it's great, it's this, that. But you know what? I just want to let you know, once you put your money in, you can't dig it out. Like this. I've done that with a few people, like my brother, but I don't care. It's got a long-term horizon. But that starts, right? Mm-hmm. Then VeVe feels a lot more comfortable with putting some marketing dollars behind it. I think the brands. I mean, think about a Disney. What would Disney go and tell its fans? Yeah, this app is great. Go get this on Disney, but once you put your money in, you can't take it out. Right. Like that changes. To me, that change is pretty big and material. And I don't know what the plans are. not, close to David and Dan or Alex or these guys. I mean, I don't have any insider information, any of that kind. But my sense is that, that starts. And I think that opens the door for that. That opens the door for more people coming in and much more, stable kind of an environment.
Yeah, I agree. I agree completely. And I think a lot of the people, I think there could potentially be a dip, but I think a lot of the people that have been waiting for this cash out are ready. I know a lot of people that have.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they've already sold.
They've already sold, right? And so
yeah, there's nothing more to sell.
I'm hopeful, I don't have a crystal ball. I'm hopeful that this dip isn't as drastic as, people are anticipating, but it doesn't bother me either way, because I'm not cashing out anything at this point, and I got 0 gems in my account because I just keep buying, and that strategy is working for me now. But you're absolutely right. There are going to be the people that, they've made a good profit, and they may reinvest or keep, spending some of those gems that they have saved up, but take some profits too. Absolutely. That
makes sense to keep some gems on the side. I'm just thinking to myself, I burned all my gems. I just get so tempted.
It's hard, man.
There's no webbings between my fingers. They're all gone. Right? But I'm thinking it might be a good idea to load up a few gems just to kind of, in that next 2-month period as MTL kind of comes out and, things.
I think it could be big. I think we could see.
There could be a few things. There might be a few deals on the marketplace.
Yeah.
Let's see.
And so what advice do you have for, those that are here now and those that are maybe looking to get in but are timid and concerned, this is definitely 2 different types of people, but just what kind of general advice would you give? Because you've been here for a while and you feel pretty confident in what you're doing.
I mean, I'm not any kind of financial advisor. I mean, this is, you're using money and this is, good amounts of money. So I can share with you how I look at it. Obviously it's for each one, each one's situation is so different. Each one has to decide for themselves, right? What their situation and what they want to do. But for me, I've grown to love VeVe. I'm enamored by the big IPs on VeVe as well as the artists on VeVe. Not all of it, but a lot of it. And to me, when I see, personally, I believe that we're very early. I felt early when I came in, in August and I bought those things. I mean, I bought a Marvel Uncommon for 8 point some gems, right? Today, it's fallen by whatever %, but it still sells for like 150 gems. So, that kind of stuff, I don't think we're at a point where we can say that this is VeVe's sort of peak or whatever, right? To me, this is like a very early in the process. I believe, that this company is here to stay. It's my personal belief this company is here to stay. It's my belief that the people who are behind VeVe are good, solid people. They're not fly-by-night kind of guys. It's my belief that they've got IPs that are pretty big and those people would have done their due diligence before coming in. The advisors are, good, solid people with excellent track records, multi-decade track records, who've got their reputation on the line. So to me, these are all sort of things which I see as positive, which give me the confidence to pick up a few things. So I'm not going and buying like every collectible that drops by 90% or 40% or 20% or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I go after certain comics. I mean, Marvel Comics 1, Amazing Spider-Man 1, Fantastic Four 1, the stamps. These are things that if they fall to kind of very low prices, I have one already, so I have the stuff to read. But that's an investment, right? Mm-hmm. And but yeah, that's sort of my thought process. I think the other thing is you have to have a certain degree of curiosity, to explore it, and if you don't find that curiosity, that engages you, it's not for you. It's better to if all you're here is to buy something for $10 and sell it for $100. Well, those things happen in select intervals of time with select things, and if you're super good at it, you can be a trader and you make a bunch of money. That's great. But by and large, it's not like it's not what everybody rolls off their bed is going to do every single day. Buy something for $10, sell for $100. It's just not the right way to look at it, right?
Agree.
But yeah, so I would say I'm very bullish on VeVe. I'm picking up selectively right now. I believe there will be a lot more users that will come. Believe there's a lot more categories that will come, and I'm specifically excited about a couple of categories that I don't have any insider information about. But I'm keep my fingers crossed they come.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. This has been like a really great conversation. You've gotten me even more pumped. I love having people like you to consult with and have in my corner, because, you know, you got to surround yourself with people that help you feel good about what you're doing, because, you know, I'm not going to surround myself with somebody that's going to make me feel bad about my investment. How is that going to help me? Right. And you're not just anybody. I feel like you're a very, very valuable member of the community. You have a great track record. You're very intelligent. And so I appreciate so much you sharing some of your information with the community.
Oh, thank you, VeVe Magic. Thanks very much for having me. And it's really an honor to be here chatting with you. I see everyone in this community as a friend of mine. I really enjoy spending time with this group. It's, we all help each other in many different ways. And, like your knowledge on Disney is just so amazing. I mean, to me, whenever there's a Disney drop coming up or whatever, I mean, I just come into your spaces to learn from you. And there's, other people who have different types of knowledge in the community, and it's great. That bond is amazing. So thank you very much. It's great, and good luck with this channel. I know it's relatively new, and I wish you every success as well.
Thank you so much, and we'll catch up later in Spaces.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.